So I have this old chessboard to restore. It's going to be used in a wedding in September month. And as you can see, I hope you can see this. This apparently is a spot where it was lying on a table where the sun always was shining on it. So it's got a little bit faded and we'll have to fix that, but that's not my biggest problem. My bigger problem in this is this little piece that is missing. So I'm going to sand it now, and it's very thin veneers, and I'm going to sand it by hand. And then once I sanded it and I can see what color this is, I'm going to take whatever veneers I've got, and I've got loads and loads and colors and shapes and sizes, and I'm going to see what I can match this with, and then take this out and replace it. So first things first, I'm going to start sanding, and I'm going to do it by hand. I'm going to show you now. I make my little sanding block, because if I put a machine on this, I'm going to be through this very fast. I'm scared if I use a scraper, I'm going to hook a little corner or something and break another one here, because this is very old and very fragile. So this is handwork. The border around, that's quite easy. That I'm also going to do by hand, but I can use a little bit more force on that. But first I want to get this done so that I can see if I can match this. Let's start sanding. So guys, I'm going to start at 100 grit sandpaper to sand this veneer, and then go through the grits up to 320 and see if I can get it smooth and clean again. This trick I learned from my friend Koenraad, and the reason why I do this, and I'll show you now, because you get very crisp corners when you do it like this. I just cut a little piece of offcut. I then take double-sided tape, the very thin one, they call it, I think, framers tape. Take that, glue it on, as straight as possible, of course, and then I cut this little piece, and that's in order not to waste. So I then remove the next piece of double-sided tape, and she's off. And then I just roll it as tight as possible to keep the corners nice and tight. Glue it down. Cut the next one, and so forth. And then cut it clear. Ready for the next piece. What's nice about this, you've got very sharp little corners, so when you want to get into a tight little corner like that and sand, the corner stays clean and clear. Let's start sanding. See the difference. I just took it without 100 grit. There's definitely places I'll have to sand by hand without the block, because it's not even everywhere. This one definitely has a piece that's loose that I have to glue down, and then also here there's another piece that I have to glue down. So you can see the difference here now that the sanding is done. and I'm definitely gonna sand that now with a 100 grit and not take this any further with a 100 grit. From here I'm gonna go with the finer grits and then concentrate on getting the little border done as well with that, because I'm scared I blow through the veneer. I'm gonna sand that quickly and then we'll take it up in the grits. So I'm now done with 100 grit and I'm gonna go now to 120 grit and then redo and redo until I'm clean and clear, and I'm sure that I've got all the little varnish marks and old shellac and stuff off. I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'll show you when I'm done. Let's now sand it up to a 120. And then I just took the blocks and the little border on the side. I just sanded them as well to get these sharp little corners crisp again, and then to get that level clean. I'm gonna sand this now. And then what I think I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna sand any further on the top border, because I'm scared I'm gonna blow through this. Especially this yellow wood or something. I'm not sure what wood this is, polyurethane or yellow wood. I'm scared I blow through that. So I'm gonna mask the blocks to just reveal this piece once I've sanded. Then I'm gonna give them a bit of a darker stain around, and then I'll varnish the whole lot, because I'm very scared to sand any further than this. I think I'm gonna blow through this because it's very thin. The brown ones is a bit thicker, but the white, it looks like it wants to blow through, so I'm just gonna stop there. So let me sand the rest of this border quickly and we'll do some staining. So that's now sanded to 220 right around all the borders. What I've done is I just closed it and then kept on sanding all around the borders as well. And by using the blocks, what happened is we kept the corners nice and crisp, and I think we actually made them better. Of course they did get some damage over the years. So that's enough sanding for tonight. I'll have to now tomorrow continue on the inside and also sand all of this. I'm not going to do anything to the felt inside. That's antique and old. I'm just going to glue pieces that came loose, glue them back. But I'm going to mask this and then sand the wood around it, and that will be then varnished with the rest. So guys, this was all hand sanding. As you can see, there's more dust in this place than I like. But that's now the worst of the sanding is now done. I'm happy it's up to 220. There might be little spots here and there that I'll touch up where I can't get with the blocks. I'll have to do that with the hand. But that's the sanding for tonight. So I now masked the checkered part of the chessboard. What I want to use now is the Nova stain, and I just want to stain it a little bit darker, just the outside borders, because there's lots of blotchiness and the colors differ and everything. So I just want to see if I could get it more one tone color. What I use is the sponge brushes, and they work actually quite nice. So let me do this and I'll come back to you. So there we are guys. Now you can see the idea I had with the stain. Most of the inconsistent colors and the darker and lighter woods on the frame is mostly one color now. So I'm going to put the first coat of polyurethane matte on it now. The customer would like this to be matte, and that should then bring out the colors quite a lot. So the matte finish I'm using is a polyurethane matte from Nova that I'm going to use on this, and let's see if that makes it or breaks it. So that's now the second coat of the polyurethane on. It will dry to a matte finish, so there won't be any shine to it. So I'm going to leave it now, and then we'll give it a quick flat and then a final coat. So guys, while we're waiting for the chessboard to dry, I thought I'll talk a bit about finishes. The reason why I chose the polyurethane finish is there's advantages and disadvantages to this. Polyurethane usually is very durable. It's very resistant to heat, scratches and making marks. And it doesn't change the color of the wood too much. It is a oil-based polyurethane, and oil tends to yellow wood a little bit. What I've done here is just made a little sample over the last few days I've tried, just to show you what it's going to look like. Now, I don't know if you can see the shine in this. This is four coats of polyurethane that I've put on because I have a customer that wants a project high gloss, and I think that will actually do it. I love that finish. It's a very nice finish, it's a smooth finish, and it works for me. Personally, I don't like a shiny piece of furniture. I like more of a satin finish, so not too shiny, not too matte. Something more like this. So what I've done is I've taken Kiat, all three pieces is Kiat. This little piece on this side, I've just put boiled linseed oil. I use boiled linseed oil often, but not too often. I don't like it very much because it stays, it's got a funny texture to it, feeling of, it's oily. It doesn't really go hard. Maybe it's a temperature now at the moment, it's very cold here in the Free State. Maybe it will go hard and then you can flat it and redo it and see if it looks better. This side I've done poly wax finish. That's nice, I like the color in that. And on this side I just did matte polyurethane. And as you can see, the colors are very vibrant. It's very nice colors. And so that's the reason why I chose polyurethane. Disadvantages of polyurethane, usually it's a very long dry time. I varnish it, leave it overnight, next day sometimes it's still a little bit tacky, then you have to leave it another day before you can sand it and apply the second coat. So that's one of the disadvantages. And then another disadvantage of polyurethane, it's highly flammable. So you must use it in a well ventilated area. I open the front door and the back door to the workshop, so there's lots of ventilation when I use this, because accidents happen. But other than that, I can't find anything wrong with polyurethane. Another thing that at the moment, I think for all of us, is a problem is price. So the polyurethanes at the moment is almost half the price of the waxes, and that suits my budget quite well. So guys, that's just a little quick summary of why I chose polyurethane for this. Guys, another thing, please remember, subscribe and share this video. Let's get back to that chessboard. So guys, that's now the chessboard done. She's nice and dry. She's got 3 coats of polyurethane matte on it, and I'm happy with the results. There's a few places that I would have loved to change, but this is an antique piece, it's an old piece, so I'm not going to replace any parts of it. And this is what the customer wanted. I'll talk to the customer now and ask him whether he wants me to just add a little bit of shine to it. And I personally would have just made it a little bit of a satin gloss. And doing that, the way I do that usually is I just add a little bit of beeswax and then polish it with beeswax. It just gives it that little bit of shine, and also that little bit better protection. But so far this is what the customer asked of me, and that's what he's getting. Please comment, tell me what you think of it. What would what would you have changed and what have you have done different. Another project done.